Preparations began hours before the highly anticipated speech by U.S. Vice President Joe Biden in the Ukrainian Parliament. Security had been ramped up and a prompter installed, and never seen before contraption in the Verkhovna Rada. The 73-year-old Democrat is the first American leader to address the parliament in nearly 25 years. Back in 1991, former U.S. President George H.W. Bush called on Ukraine to stay intact with the Soviet Union. But this week's speech by Joe Biden had the opposite message. Seeming unable to contain the strong emotion in his voice, he called on lawmakers to turn Ukraine into an independent and prosperous country.
It is no exaggeration to say that the hopes of freedom-loving people the world over are with you, because so much rides on your fragile experiment with democracy succeeding. It's equally important, by the way, for aggressors around the world to understand that they can't use coercion, bribery, sending tanks and men across a border to extinguish the dreams and hopes of a people. For if you succeed, that message is sent around the world.
This means putting an end to Ukraine's endemic corruption. Biden warned that if the government doesn't do more, international support will stop.
It's not enough to set up a new anti-corruption bureau and establish a special prosecutor fighting corruption. The Office of the General Prosecutor desperately needs reform. The judiciary should be overhauled. The energy sector needs to be competitive, ruled by market principles, not sweetheart deals. It's not enough to push through laws to increase transparency with regard to official sources of income. Senior elected officials have to remove all conflicts between their business interests and their government responsibilities.
Biden's visit came days before Ukrainian Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk loses his year-long immunity from dismissal. Over the past few weeks, several deputies and the governor of Odessa, Mikhail Saakashvili, accused Yatsenyuk of being embroiled in corruption schemes. Some Ukrainian MPs believe Biden's speech suggests U.S. officials are well informed of the corruption allegations within the political elite. The part about corruption concerns everyone from deputies, the government, the president, and his inner circle. It wasn't just about the premier and those who surround him. Biden's latest visit caused a stir. He's largely seen as the main voice of major Western leaders supporting Ukraine. Many politicians were quick to congratulate him after the speech. Some Ukrainian leaders see him as the man who can resolve their internal political conflicts. In reality, the U.S. government has all the information about the bank accounts our embezzlers have set up. They even know more than the Ukrainian society. I think this was another attempt to get the president to fire Shokin and replace him with a real general prosecutor. In Western media, Biden's anti-corruption speech in Ukraine was overshadowed by the controversy over his youngest son, Hunter. The 45-year-old is associated with Ukraine's biggest private gas producer, Burisma Holdings, specifically its owner, Mykola Zlochevsky, who is known to be linked to disgraced former Ukrainian president Viktor Yanukovych.